Old school stuff we're dealing with here. I bet you they think this is textured and not gonna give me it. Yep, I went over there, I asked the body man, and he said all we were doing on this job was a fender and a blend on the door. So I went over there and I looked at it and I told him these are not textured. So how many times have you guys been in the body shop and you get done with a job and here comes the body man with a bumper that he may have thought came painted or it was a textured part and you had to end up painting that thing anyway. So this is a vehicle here that has been a nightmare from all the way back in 05 with all those matte finishes and textures. So right away I knew it when I seen it, because these bezels has gotten me after they had brought me the bumper. Then here they come with the bezels that don't match because they are a different color, and a lot of times the companies won't give you the paint codes for these, and if they do, they don't match at all. So in this video I'm going to show you guys a trick that I do on these old school jobs, because they still are around, and you guys see we got one here in the shop that's going to be able to get you into this color real quick, real easy, and you're not going to waste any time. All right, so here's the fender, and we're going to be blending the door for the body color of this vehicle. So we have to match up this gray, and we have to get the color as well as the sheen on it. And you guys see here, I definitely got the pieces that got me many times years back when I was first getting into this trade. This is the kind of stuff that you got to make sure that you get. Even if you don't get paid for it, go ahead and shoot these, because if they go on and they're a little bit off, they're going to show up really, really bad. So we got these. We're going to go ahead and get these things prepped out, and I'm going to show you guys what I do for these type of jobs. All right, so years back when I had a color like this, I would always get out the chip decks. I'd start looking through the chips, and sometimes when they had the OE manufacturer's books, they used to have that little circle that you could put something underneath it and see if it was the right color. But 9 times out of 10, that was always a big pain. So through the years, I've made a way of doing it that worked out really well. So if you want to eliminate all that trouble of checking chips, maybe wetting this down with the prep sol, spraying it down and seeing if you can get a chip to match, go ahead, take one of your pieces, wipe it down. Don't sand it, because if you sand it, you may screw up some of this color or the actual metallic in them, because these are a metallic part. And years back, a lot of guys weren't clearing these. So if this job was done years ago, some of the guys would take some hardener and put it in their solvent base coat and think that that was going to be enough protection out there. And I can't lie to you guys, I used to do that, because years ago they didn't have all these matte clears like they do to today that are really made for the UV rays out there. So what I'm going to do now is go in the booth. We're going to go ahead and clear that panel with another job that I got in there. That way we can do some testing, and I'll show you guys how to get a match. Even if you're at the house, you'll be able to match up your color. All right, so while that's baking, let's go ahead and get this job prepped out. We'll do our normal prep on it. We got a raw plastic, so we'll hit that with the gray. We'll do our 800 on the blend, and we'll hit our new fender with the 400 DA. All right, so you guys see we've got it cleared up, and that color has changed dramatically just by adding the clear coat on it, because a lot of times these are faded out from all the years of being exposed to the sun. So even if you had the OEM paint code for these, which a lot of times they'll put them on the back of the panel, you're still going to be dealing with a faded part. So through the years, I found this trick to be the best way of doing it. That way you can match the faded paint as well. And if you guys are doing this at the house, if you were to bring one of these panels to the local paint store and it's satin, it's gonna be a lot harder for them to match it. So if you're doing this at the house, bring it in there, have them match it up because they can see the color a lot better. Now you guys at the shop, you're probably gonna have to go back to some of your old chips if you do not have the camera, but I know most of the shops now in today's day and age, they'll give you one of the spectrometers, and that's how we're gonna start this off with that. We're gonna go ahead and shoot it now that we have it cleared, and we're gonna see what the camera picks up for it, and maybe they'll even give us a chip that we compare. That way we don't have to do a spray out to see if our color matches. All right, so we'll go ahead and shoot it now, and you obviously don't have to polish this because you have fresh clear coat on it with no scratches. So go ahead, get your camera, put it on there, and go ahead and take your shots of it, and let's see what we got for it. Also, you guys may be wondering why we're replacing this, being it looks like it's in pretty good condition. The reason is because when you pull them off and they're old and dry rotted, it breaks off all the clips on the back, and then this will never attach to the vehicle securely. And if you try to do something with it, you may have it peeling off and also falling off on the customer. So just go ahead and get them replaced. All right, we'll go ahead and hook up our camera, see what we get for a reading on it, and then go from there with it. So let me go ahead and plug it in. All right, so it looks like it picked a Ford color, T7. We'll go ahead and put T7 in here, and we'll see if it'll let us adjust it. Because sometimes it's only gonna pick up what is actually in the system that the camera has saved. So it doesn't just mix a color of what you're shooting. You have to have something that's actually in the database here. So let's go ahead, hit that, and hit search, and then we'll see what we get. Now we'll hit this angle darker 9 is what it's given us. This will be the one that we've got, and this will be one that it'll be able to match it. So it's gonna be different based off of that 9. And you guys see here, this is what we've got, and this is what we have here that is a lot darker. So what we'll do is we'll move it down the line here. We'll get a little bit further away from there and see if it'll let it adjust it, and it will. All right, so we've got everything loaded in the booth. I'm gonna go ahead, wipe them down, and then we're gonna mix up that adjusted color. That way it's compensated for the faded paint job. We'll do a spray out just to double check it. And we do have to get our satin dialed in as well. That way we can match what's on the vehicle because it is a satin finish. So let's go ahead and start shooting it. All right, so we've got our sealer and our base coat on both colors now, and I wanted to bring out the chip deck. So if you don't have your camera and you don't have a camera in the shop, now you can get your chips that are real similar to what you got, because this one has all the shades. In the PPG line, you'll get a deck that'll be in the ballpark, and you'll have to fan through them. So we did start out with T7 when we did the camera shot on it. So look at the variances for that color. They're all over the map, from light to dark, with different angles on them and flaps. So now go ahead, get your deck, check it out. If you were gonna be able to just be able to eyeball it, you're gonna be having a lot better chance, because now you can see it, being it's shiny like the chips. So they don't give us chips in any of the satin, so you have to get them shiny in order to check them. And this way that I've showed you guys to do it here, I think will help you guys. All right, so not too bad. I think that came out nice, being that that is an 06 and that color is very faded with that satin look on it. So don't forget, if you get some of these claddings, check the back. They do have the paint codes on them, but they are used with paper here. So a lot of times they get deteriorated over the years and you won't be able to find them. I don't really bother with that too much because like I said, they're most of the time, they're very faded and they're not even in the ballpark if you do have the code. So you can call up the dealer if you have the VIN, but a lot of times on these older vehicles, they don't want to be bothered trying to check into stuff like that. So this is the way that I've done it through the years and it works out well. If you guys are doing something else that you may think helped me on some of these type of jobs, leave it in the comments. So I hope you guys like this one. Give it a thumbs up and we'll see you guys on the next one.